In today's Leeds news, Pat Bamford's Leeds Future Anton Stach deal finalised, Igor Paixao latest, and Mateo Joseph's exit could help fund Muniz. Morning folks, welcome back to The View. Monday the 21st of July with your Leeds United news. A lot going on this week. The Leeds United squad have jetted off from the Netherlands over to their pre-season camp in Germany, where the club will play 2 games behind closed doors. Those games will be streamed at some point, just not live. They will be streamed likely after the conclusion of those games. Same with match reports on that as well. So the players are there. Some of the new boys are already over with them, and there could be some new ones ready to join up. Just a quick shout out and a massive thank you to everybody who has watched, put up with me talking about the Creator Cup for the last couple of months. We've raised over £5,000 for Prostate Cancer UK. Everyone who, and that number is continuing to go up. Massive thanks to everyone who came to the ground yesterday in the rain, and everyone who watched online, and anyone who has donated or got involved over the last couple of weeks. Massive thank you. Great day by everybody, and some good money raised for a very good charity as well. Let's move on today and start off with the news. We'll start off with Patrick Bamford's future that came up over the weekend and some updates on that. As we know, Daniel Farke sat down with Patrick Bamford a few weeks ago to discuss his future and had the very uncomfortable conversation with him where he told him that his future will be lying elsewhere from this season on. A lot of people expected Bamford to move on this summer after the arrival of Lucas Mecha and the likely arrival of an additional number 9. And Pat won't travel with the squad to Germany and hasn't travelled with the squad to Germany and will instead stay back at Thorpe Arch with the under-21s. But Pat has also been informed by Daniel Farke that should he not be able to get a move, he won't be training with the first team, that he will be training with the under-21s, and that might just be an added incentive to help push through a deal while Pat's in the final year of his contract. And that might end up not working out particularly well for everybody, and you could maybe see a mutual termination come the end of the transfer window. Pat's in his 30s. He won't want to sit on the bench at this stage of his career, and Leeds need to get his wages off the books in order to bring in a new striker as well. So it looks like Pat Bamford's future is elsewhere, and the writing is on the wall. We wish Pat the very best if he does move on from the club. But at the moment, he is still there. There's no real links to any potential clubs, but that might pick up now. His agent will have to get to work on this. He won't want to waste a year of his career sitting on the bench in his or sitting in the stand in his 30s. So we'll see how he gets on with that. Let's move on to a transfer incoming story that's likely to be finalised today. And as of time of recording this, Anton Stach's medical at Leeds was said to be ongoing and underway. In the final bits and pieces about wrapping up his transfer from Hoffenheim to Leeds United as well. The YP reported this morning that Stach will complete a €20 million move to Leeds United from Hoffenheim. That's about £17.8 million, and there are add-ons included in that deal as well. Leeds have already arrived in Germany ahead of their pre-season games and their camp this week, and Stach, once he is finalised and completed his final bits and pieces, he will then jet off to join the squad in Germany to get used to his new teammates and squad. The 6'4" German international will definitely add more defensive steel to this Leeds United midfield 3 now. We'll see if that becomes the midfield option when the season starts, but Ilya Groove had a fantastic game against Manchester United, so Leeds very much getting the defensive side of this squad very much right at this point. And we hope they can sprinkle the goal dust elsewhere in the attacking third and bring a bit more excitement in there. But very strong defensive cover being brought in at this point, and defensive options being brought in, and a pretty decent performance against Manchester United as well at the weekend. But we'll move on and talk about the exciting one, I suppose. And that's Igor Paixao, and all excitement for one of Leeds' most ambitious transfer moves of this summer anyway appeared to be eking away from all of us fans over the course of the weekend after news came out that Marseille had agreed a €30 million deal for Igor Paixao. That deal was €30 million to be paid up front in one fee, along with add-ons and a 30% sell-on clause as well, which is a amazing amount of money and a very strange deal to put on the table. It definitely doesn't favour the buying club in that situation. But there have been reports today from Mikas Guka, who yesterday reported that there were issues around the deal with Marseille and that it had not been completed at that point. Gukas from AD again today has said that there is no deal in place at this point, but the transfer has yet not been ruled out, and Marseille's representatives are said to be meeting with Feyenoord's board to try and complete some form of a deal today. Should that not happen, Feyenoord have said that they will move on to other options that they have, and that is where Leeds could come back into the equation with this deal. There is a very strong possibility by the time you've watched this that the deal is already done to Marseille and that has gone through and they did finalise that, but there is still a small sliver of hope at this point for Leeds that remains if that deal doesn't get done in the next day or so. I fully expect this to be a Marseille deal. It looks like all the money is there. €30 million up front is a huge chunk of change to pay on any footballer, especially in the current PSR market. Leeds are looking to spread fees over a couple of seasons, but if they want to get Paixao, they may need to find the cash and stump it up front to get him. But as I say, this has always been an incredibly ambitious transfer, a very exciting one. But it does, to me, feel like it will go Marseille's direction. But we'll see over the next 24 hours. If it doesn't get done with them, maybe then Leeds can come back in and negotiate a deal with Feyenoord to bring Igor Paixao to Leeds. It would be a brilliant signing for Leeds to get. But I'm sure there's other players on that list as well in that position. And Leeds might not be looking at number 10 anymore. If they do go for this 4-3-3 system, Leeds may end up trying to spend their money in the wide areas and in the number 9 instead. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks as we get to the end of this window to see where Leeds are going to spend the bigger money and bring in the bigger signings, as they said they would come towards the back end of this window. But we'll move on and talk about another potential exit and another Matteo Joseph story. And there are reports today from The Sun, apologies for bringing up their name, but they claim that a sale of Matteo Joseph would help to finance the arrival of Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham. Joseph is wanted by Real Betis, who now have had 3 separate bids rejected for the player by Leeds United. After the last bid was rejected, Leeds United said that Joseph was not for sale, but that's not exactly how Daniel Farke worded it when he was asked about him after the game at the weekend. After the draw at Manchester United at the Strawberry Arena in the Netherlands, Farke spoke to the press and was asked about the future of Matteo Joseph. And Farke said he wants to keep the best players he has at the club, and Matteo Joseph is still a player that he rates, but he said that speculation at this time of the year is very common and we'll have to see where we are in a few weeks' time. Now that to me does not say not for sale. That to me says read between the lines. The Sun claim that Celta Vigo are now said to be in the mix and they may have the funds to get a deal done for Matteo Joseph, where Real Betis just didn't have the money. Leeds are said to need over £40 million if they are to get a deal agreed for Rodrigo Muniz. Reports behind the scenes say that Leeds are progressing with that deal and the talks with Fulham are positive at this point. But as of right now, Leeds will need to sell a couple of players and need to clear the decks before they can bring any other major signings in after Anton Stach. It looks like they're trying to do that at the minute. But Matteo Joseph's sale, according to The Sun, will help to fund any move the Leeds United make for an additional attacking player. That might be Muniz, that might be somebody else. It's not exactly clear at this point, but we'll see how it goes. It could be a quiet enough early part of this week. Once Anton Stach gets done, it might quieten down for a couple of days then before we see anything happen. You could be going into next week before you start to see any more deals getting done. But it's going to be, as I say, a very interesting couple of weeks, and the rundown for this window is going to be exciting as well. I am genuinely excited about what squad the Leeds are putting together right now. I think the backline looked really good against Manchester United. There is still cover needed in the fullback areas. Isaac Schmidt had a small knock at the weekend, but that's regular enough with Isaac, so Leeds need to sort that one out as well and maybe bring in another player to cover. Maybe it's Jaffa Tanganga, maybe it's not, maybe it's somebody else. But yeah, the 4-3-3 looked interesting as well. Fell apart once the system changed, but that 4-3-3 definitely looked like it suited the players that were in that squad, and it gave Leeds plenty of time to give their midfield options plenty of minutes at the weekend as well. So yeah, very positive stuff there. We'll see how it goes. 2 games behind closed doors in the next week or so, and then we're into AC Milan, Villarreal, and then the season kicks off and we'll know what kind of squad Leeds United will go out with. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Again, massive thank you to everyone I met yesterday at the game who came out and braved the rain and the conditions to come and watch that match, who got involved. A very vocal crowd. Didn't like getting booed by everyone when I tackled Danny from Not Another Leeds podcast, but fun day, great stuff to meet all the lads. We don't normally get to hang out, we know each other from streams, so nice to see everyone and then raise money for a very good charity as well. So if you did contribute, massive thank you as well. And if you didn't contribute, just put up with me mentioning it every second day. I appreciate that as well. It's done, dusted. We'll talk about next year in a while. Folks, thanks very much as always for supporting the channel and joining me today. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.